Okay, well, so I just showed you sort of the basic idea, taking a culture and transferring it into a new set of media or substrate or whatever you're going. Hopefully the ideas transfer. The big thing that you want to remember is that you want a clean environment, you want a clean set of tools, and you want sterilized substrate that you're going to be introduced or inoculating with your culture. And then you want to follow sterile technique, nothing hovering above something else. Clean your hands whenever you introduce potential contamination. Keep your tools clean, wipe down and clean your surface. Those are the sort of basic things that apply to pretty much everything that you're going to do at home. But if you're like me and outside of your research life you have no money, then well, I do have some money. It all goes to tuition. So you are trying to do things on the cheap. So I'm going to show you how to make a still air box, which is a area that you can clean and reduce the airflow into so that you can do semi-sterile work and inoculate at home for super cheap. This is actually the box that I use. It is a Hefty brand plastic container. It was from Lowe's. I think it was $7 maybe. I don't remember because I've had it for a long time to hold my garbage. And yeah, so today I'm going to show you how to turn that into a still air box. Okay, so we have our plastic container here and we have our meager tools that we're going to use. I'm trying to think about what everybody has at home and basically what I've had to make do with. I have some of these little wire snippers and I have a piece of metal that I can get hot. I don't want to use my scalpel because that's a nice thing, and I'm going to use that to melt holes into my box to create armholes. The armholes are going to serve as the entryway to my arms. You want that so that you can work with stuff inside, but it also creates a boundary everywhere else that reduces airflow. Of course, the lid for this box is somewhere else, but we're going to do nothing to that because at the end of this, what we're essentially going to have is a box that we can close with the lid and then turn upside down with two armholes that we can stick inside and work on our cultures with. So that is what a still air box is. No air in, no air out. Well, maybe a little bit of both of those because it's not a perfect system. But yeah, so first we have to make the outline for our armholes. So we're going to start by making a series of dots. So I'm going to get a rough estimate of my hand. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make little marks where I'm going to melt the plastic. So next I'm going to turn on my actual burner here and I'm going to start poking holes in here, and then we're going to use the wire cutters to cut out between them. This plastic is not it's not like this is like a cast, this isn't something that is easily worked on. I've tried actually to just cut this out, with like these or some scissors, and the plastic doesn't take to that kind of straining very well, and you can actually see here I've tried to do that and I've made a crack. The crack shattered the box a little bit. I'm gonna actually have to tape that over so I can reduce airflow there, but that's fine. So instead what I'm gonna do is make a series of holes, and I'm going to just snip out the pattern because the actual distance between the 2 points is pretty small, so I can really get in there and just snip it, and it's going to go right to the next one. Alright guys, so I did that. Go ahead and melted all these little holes here, and I really did that. I really did it with this little piece of metal. You could be doing it with like a old stainless steel knife that you could get hot, hot enough, using a stovetop or maybe a candle or something. So one thing I want to say, do it outside. Don't expose yourself to all these fumes. I can lift this box here, I can already smell the fumes coming out. So it's if you have a drill, that is a better way to go. But like I said, I am trying to show you how to do this if you have next to nothing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these wire cutters just because that's what I said I was going to use. I also think that most people have a pair of scissors, so if the wire cutters are not going great, I'm going to use this. You know, I was sitting here cutting this, and I was just thinking that, you know, it might even work just better if you have, you know, a pretty sharp knife. So I might also use my scalpel, which I think you could use in place of a knife. Okay. First one is down. First one is cut away. Okay, second one is pretty much cut out here. Try to snap this off. Whoa, there we go. All right, there she goes. Kind of see that we're snapped here. Okay, so I've made my still air box. If I had the lid with me, I would also show you how that sort of seals up. Although I think you understand how lids work, so I'm not gonna go ahead and worry about that. But I am gonna prove to you that this works. So I'm gonna clean the inside of this. I'm gonna clean the bottom of my workstation here. And then I'm going to transfer another one of the cultures I work with. This is Rhizopus oryzae. People use this to make tempeh. I use this for my research. And we're going to be transferring this onto potato dextrose agar, which is literally just potato extract. And someday I'll make a video on how to make this at home using just potatoes and agar. Or maybe you want to put it into some other substrate to supplement it and encourage growth. But either way, I'll show you how to make this someday. Okay, got my gloves on. We've inverted our bin, or I should say actually we've reverted our bin to the correct orientation that it was manufactured to be in. And what we're going to do is clean the inside. But before we do that, we're also going to clean off all the baloney that I created when I made the holes. Okay, now we're going to clean the interior of our bin. And then we're going to close this up. Okay, so, but I have my culture here, and I'm going to wipe it using my ethanol, my 70% ethanol soaked paper towel. And I'm gonna wipe the outsides here. Okay, so that's nice and wiped. And now I'm going to bring that into the still air box. And then I'm going to flame sterilize my scalpel. Okay, so I've just gotten mine nice and red hot. I'm bringing it back inside. Every time you take your hand out, you want to clean them, but I can't exactly set this down. So now I'm going to cut into this. Remember, nothing above to reduce contamination that could be introduced from hovering over something. Okay, so I've just cut my block out, taken my block out. Now I'm going to transfer it onto the new dish, making sure I don't leave it hanging down. There's a little finagle in there. Okay, I'm taking my stuff out. Okay, that's the whole process. I just cleaned this. I cleaned everything that I was working with. I cleaned the inside of the box and the bottom, and I just inoculated this. So to prove to you that it works, I'm going to show you how this looks after a day of growth. Okay, so that's the whole process from start to finish, the general overview of culturing mushrooms at home, how to make a still air box, and how to use a still air box to transfer culture.